Okey, kita sambungkan. Ini Datuk ceritakan apa itu organisasi. Yang sedikit sebanyak tadi saya dah inform dah kamu tadi lah. Okay, tengok apa dia cakap, Datuk cakap.
A group of individual that are made of people, which two or more people who work together. So any people, two of them, two or more, we call it is an organization. Yeah, and an organization must be two or more people. If one people, they cannot be an organization. So the management structure identify the roles and responsibility of the job to ensure every worker knows their job description and responsibility. They also know whom they have to report and to refer. So if you got 5, 6, 10 of you in a group of organization, and then you must have the management structure. Who's the boss? Who's number 1? Who's number 2? Who's number 3? Okay, this example lah. We'll go through later on more detail. Third, organizational goals. They have goals to achieve. They are interacting with each other to achieve a common goal or to set up a goal. Goal. Biasa you learn goal apa? Main bola lah. Yeah? Football. So you too. What is the football achievement? They just want to score goals. So goal here is the same goal. Meaning, that means it's an organization. What are you going to score? What are you going to achieve? In the football field, they want to achieve to score the goal. Here, same thing. In the organization, 5, 10 or 20 of you, what are you going to achieve? That achievement, we call it goals. Yeah? Simple as that. So then example of organization, for example, you're talking about organization like say hospital. So this is a big organization. We have from top to bottom, 1,000 people working down there. Yeah? So more than 2 or any maximum amount, so we have an organization. School like UiTM. UiTM is a university, also an organization. School, also organization, but there's a small scale. Small scale. This example lah. We talking about what is organization example. Okay, measuring managerial performance, professional performance efficiency, the ability to do things right and efficient. Manager is a manager who can achieve output, result as expected.
Okey, boleh faham tak tadi? Slide yang tadi tu. Mana tadi slide dia? Okey, yang ni. You all boleh faham tak apa maksud organization? A group of individual, management structure, organizational goals. Ada boleh faham tak apa maksud dia? Ada soalan tak? Haziq, Amirul, ada soalan? Adika, did you have any question regarding organization? Can you understand what is it? Tak ada aja korang ni. Farisa, ada soalan nak tanya? Apa itu organization? Farisa dengar ke? Tak ada soalan. Okay. Okay, tak apa. Okay, semua faham maksudnya? Apa itu organisasi tu? Make sure you understand and you can explain in your own words. Okay? I hope that you will have an idea what is organization is all about. Okay? So nanti saya akan tanya tau. Jangan tidur tau. Korang jangan buat kerja lain So make sure tolong fokus dekat slide dan juga apa yang saya nak inform. Okay? Lepas ni nanti saya akan lepas satu slide nanti saya akan tanya you all. Saya akan Panggil seorang and then please explain in your own words what is that terms. Contoh. Okay? So be prepared tau. Saya tak nak cakap seorang-seorang ni. Okay? So nanti saya akan tanya you all. Prepare tau. Make sure you dengar betul-betul.
Small scale. This example lah. We talking about what is organization example.
Okay, yang ni pula. Measuring managerial performance. Kita nak measure managerial performance. Managerial ni siapa? Management tu lah. Okay, contoh dalam organisasi hospital ada ketua pengarah kan. Lepas tu timbalan ketua pengarah, ada head of department. Itu semua managerial lah. Atau kalau dalam college pula, for example, we have siapa? Apa structure dia? Yang pertama sekali kita ada CEO Datuk Nora, and then bawah sekali dapat ada Puan Diana, and then bawah lagi ada siapa. Okay, itu manager performance. Macam mana kita nak measure manager performance?
Professional performance efficiency. The ability to do things right and efficient. Manager is a manager who can achieve output, result as expected. Manager who are able to utilize and minimize the cost of resources such as staff, finance, equipment, and raw material. Here we are talking about you're completing a job. Let's say in a factory, they want to make a furniture. Perabot furniture. You're making chairs, table. So the organization have to work together. From the manager to the carpenter to the machine handler, everybody have to work together and see to the output of the chairs and table. But the question here, how much cost did you use to produce a set of chairs and table? So this is the cost that you have to calculate. If your factory can produce chairs and table at a cost of 1,000 ringgit, but another factory produce the same table and chairs at 800 ringgit cost. So they are more efficiency than your factory. This is what we're talking about, the performance of efficiency. Example lah. We'll go through later on more example. Then performance of effectiveness. The ability to choose the right goals. Example. If the demand in the market forecast is from small, compact, economical, but the manager choose to manufacture big, luxury and expensive car, the manager is considered to be ineffective. What is this performance effective? There's a car, but let's say I go back to the furniture. In the furniture factory, the manager choose to be a very high-end furniture with a very expensive material, but the market in that country only for the middle income, because not many rich people in the country. Let's say you're selling furniture to a country, for example, Africa, where they are third world country, and your manager choose to produce very expensive furniture, high-end furniture, top performance quality. Can you sell it in Africa? You can't, because down there, they are third world country. They can't afford to buy the very expensive furniture. So here, the performance of the ineffectiveness of the manager is in question, because they produce a furniture with high end and sell it to a third world country which they can afford to buy. A very good example, I give you a good example, simple example. You produce a refrigerator. You know refrigerator, where you keep all your ice and box and everything, and you export to Iceland. You know where is Iceland? A country, Iceland, northern pole there. Do you think you can sell a rice refrigerator to the Iceland? They are a gold country. They have all the ices already. So if that the manager choose, then the manager is not effective in his job as a manager. This is how you measure the manager function or the manager performance. Okay.
Okay. Boleh tak faham macam mana cara kita nak apa tadi? Kita nak measure financial measures the managerial performance. Okay. Boleh faham tak apa maksud dia? History baru nak masuk. Siapa yang boleh faham dan boleh explain in your own words? Dua perkara yang kita nak assess, kita nak measure, kita nak ukur, kita nak kaji macam mana managerial tu berfungsi ataupun performance sebagai seorang manager tu. Macam mana cara kita nak assess dia? Macam mana kita nak ukur dia punya performance? Siapa tahu boleh share dengan kawan-kawan? How to measure the performance, managerial performance. Based on two tadi kan? Apa dia? Based on two tu apa dia? Yang pertama apa? Siapa nak ni? Siapa nak jawab? Volunteer. Saya nak dengar suara you all juga. Tak nak saya dengar suara saya je. Saya nak tanya, saya panggil nama tau. Sedia Saya nak try tanya Emilia Diana. Where are you? Are you here? Alright. So Emilia Diana. Yelah Camilla, aku baru masuk. Camilla saya kurang faham. Sekejap Camilla. Ni sekarang Emilia. Saya tanya Emilia. Okay, try Emilia. What is the performance managerial measurement tu tadi? Apa yang Emilia faham? Performance efficiency. Emilia dengar ya. Okay, lepas tu? Aha. Pandai. Very good. Dengar tu Camilla. Macam mana kita nak tahu dia efisien ke tidak? Dari segi tengok dia dapatkan kos barang ataupun daripada supplier yang bagi harga murah ataupun tinggi. Kalau yang siapa manager ni dia dapat supplier yang bagi harga yang lagi murah, so dia adalah efisien. Okay. Manager tersebut dia sangat efisien berbanding dengan berbanding dengan manager yang tak dapat nak cari supplier dengan harga yang rendah. Okay. So kalau dapat harga supplier yang rendah, so dia baguslah, dia terror lah. Maknanya dia boleh keluarkan suatu produk tu dia boleh jual balik dengan harga yang rendah. Okay. So itu yang pertama, performance efficiency. Okay, yang kedua Emilia. Okay. Betul. Thank you so much Emilia. Very good understanding. Okay. Okay, so Emilia boleh faham tak? Maksudnya kita nak assess sama ada manager tu, seseorang manager tu dia sangat efektif ataupun efisien ke tidak. Okay. Kalau yang efisien tadi berkaitan dengan harga kos. Kalau yang efektif ni maknanya apa yang pilihan yang dia buat tu sama ada betul ataupun tidak. Efektif ke tidak. Sebagai contoh tadilah, takkanlah kita ni sebagai manager, kita nak pergi invest. Okay, contoh dia adalah dari syarikat, manager ni dari syarikat menjual aircon. For example, aircon. Okay, seorang manager yang efektif, dia tidak akan pilih untuk ekspor barang dia ke negara yang sejuk-sejuk tadi. Takkan efektif punya lah. Tak efektif langsung kalau dia pergi pergi jual barang dia dekat negara yang sejuk-sejuk. Sebab apa tak efektif? Orang sana tak guna pun. Nanti tak guna pun aircon sebab memang dah sejuk. Kalau nak efektif, maknanya dia akan jual barang-barang aircon sebagai contoh dekat negara mana? Contoh negara yang panas seperti dekat mana? Negara Malaysia. Okey, dekat mana lagi? dekat Arab, okey. Itu contoh-contoh dari yang kalau manager tu dia nak jual barang dia iaitu aircon yang lebih efektif. Okey, boleh faham tak Amelia? Okey, semua faham Amelia boleh? Alright, very good. Okay, next kita pergi pada four functions of management. Pula four function tu. Apa function-function dia? Inilah yang POLC yang tadi kita dah tengok dekat video YouTube yang pertama tadi kan ada four tu kan, planning, leading, organizing and controlling. Okay, apa yang Datuk cakap berkaitan dengan four function of management.
So in the function of the manager, you have these four basic things. This almost every exam question will ask this thing. You take note of this topic. There is planning, leading, organization, control. PLOC. Keep in your mind. There's always one question in exam about this four functions of management. What is planning? Include defining the goal, establishment strategy, development plans to coordinate the activity. So before, let's say the manager want to produce the furniture or cars, so they have to do the planning. Normally they have to do the drawing first. Even in cars or any manufacturing product, they have to have the drawings of the product they want to produce. So that stage we call it planning. Then the next step, the manager have to leading the people to produce the product. Determine what tasks are to be done, who is to do them, how the tasks to be grouped, who reports to whom, and where decisions are to be made. Here, actually, the manager is organizing his team, leading his team in the production of the product, the cars or the furniture just now. After the first stage of planning, everybody agreed on the design kind of thing. So now the next step is to do the production. So they have to lead the teams of people in the organization to produce the product. Then the third part is organizing. Includes motivating, subordinate, directing others, selecting the most effective communication channels, and resolving conflict. So after the lead, now the lead they have to organize. To organize each person, what is their roles in producing of the furniture. And we have mentioned there what are the channels, how to communicate with the workers, with the technician, and all kind of things. That part of production, we call it organization or organizing it. And then the last part is controlling. What is the controlling part? Monitoring activities to ensure that they are being accomplished as planned and correcting any significant deviation. Deviation means any mistake lah. So the job of the manager will have to control now to see all the people in the organization is going to produce the furniture as per the planning. If any mistake, anything deviation in the process, that's the job of the manager to oversee and correct it. So this is the four function of management in any type of organization.
Okay, so ini function dia tadi POLC. Okay, kalau you nak ingat apa itu function dia, POLC. Apa fungsi-fungsi management tu, mesti dekat dalam sesuatu organisasi dia nak manage sesuatu, organisasi dia mesti kena ada 4 perkara ni. Okay, 4 step ni. Okay, yang pertama iaitu planning. Okay, planning. Second is leading. Third is organizing. Number fourth is controlling. POLC pula. Yelah, tapi kalau organizing yang dekat atas, dia sebenarnya atas ni organizing yang kedua patutnya. POLC. Leading yang ketiga sepatutnya. Controlling yang keempat. Okay, so tak apa. So, kita tengok planning dulu. Planning includes defining goals, establish strategies and developing plans to coordinate activities. Okay, manager yang terbaik mesti sebelum dia akan plan. Okay, sebelum dia menjalankan tugas mesti dia akan plan dulu. Okay, untuk dia dan subordinate. Okay, untuk employees juga. Okay, dia akan plan for the future. Okay, maknanya dia akan plan selangkah ke hadapan lah. Okay, berkaitan dengan apa goals ataupun achievement yang dia nak dekat dalam sesuatu organisasi tu. Okay, and then kalau kita dah plan kita nak capai sesuatu perkara tu, mesti kena ada strategi dan juga kita kena ada planning tu dan ada aktiviti-aktiviti yang akan kita jalankan supaya kita akan capaikan goals kita. Okay, kita akan capai cita-cita yang apa yang kita impikan, okay, dalam setiap management, dekat dalam setiap organisasi. Itu plan. Okay, kalau tak ada plan ni, dia kurang berjaya lah. Okay, sebuah management tu dia tidak akan efektif, dia tak akan efisien kalau tidak ada planning. Okay, step yang pertama itu planning. Okay, boleh faham ke tidak, kelas? Untuk planning, okay. Alright, okay. So yang kedua, leading, okay, determine what tasks are to be done, who is to do them, how the tasks are to be grouped, who reports to whom, and where decisions are to be made. Okay, so kalau seorang manager, dia kena tahulah setiap fungsi-fungsi orang bawah dia. Ada yang buat accounting, ada yang buat admin, ada yang buat marketing, okay. So dia manager ni dia kena tahulah, dia kena tahu setiap seorang tu apa fungsi-fungsi mereka dan apa yang diorang skill yang diorang ada untuk apa? Untuk menjalankan tugas-tugas. Tugas-tugas tu adalah untuk apa? Untuk achieve goals tadi. Okay, dia kena tahu dan dia kena leadkan. Okay, dia kena assignkan task. Okay, awak buat ni. Okay, bahagian account, awak yang calculate untuk financial management organisasi tersebut. Okay. So untuk marketing kena buat apa? Okay, marketing kena cari kena jalankan promotion, contohnya promotion of the product. So dia kena lead, dia adalah ketua yang akan assignkan setiap tugas-tugas kepada yang tertentulah, okay, siapa yang perlu buat satu perkara, okay. Itu leading. Kalau organizing pula,
okay.
Sekejap.
So, managerial
tekan pula. Okay, so organizing pula, okay, kita kena, what is it? Organizing includes motivating, subordinate, directing others, selecting the most effective communication channel and resolve conflict. So, bila kita dah leading tu, kita kena organize betul-betul, okay? So, kita kena make sure that employees tu tak akan ada, kalau ada isu, ada problems, kita kena organize mulalah, kita kena selesaikan masalah mereka, okay? Itu maksud organizing. And then controlling pula, okay, lepas mereka dah buat kerja tu, kita kena control. Kita control dari segi apa? Kita monitor, okay? Kita tengok sama ada apa yang dia buat tu betul ke tidak. Okay, kalau ada salah, kita kena correcting back. Control ni lebih kepada monitor and correcting. Kita mula tengok dulu dia buat betul ke tidak, and then kalau ada yang salah, kita kena plan and correct balik. Okay, kalau ada kesalahan yang mereka lakukan. Okay, itu adalah controlling. Controlling dia punya keywords dia adalah monitoring and correcting. Okay, boleh faham tak? Function of management. Okay, dekat chapter 1 ni memang dia akan terangkan secara overall. Okay, secara keseluruhan. Management tu apa? Okay, but then kalau you perasan, ada topik yang 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sampai 10 tu berkaitan dengan function management. Dia akan terangkan planning tu secara lebih terperinci. Apa definition secara terperinci, types of planning, kita ada banyak types of planning. After this, you kena tahu. Okay? And then apa mission and vision of the organization. Nanti next chapter on topic tu kita akan discuss more further on 4 functions. Okay? So ada soalan tak untuk 4 functions ni? Ada siapa yang tak faham ke ikut saya? Tak ada Okay. So jom kita next.
So this is the 4 function of management in any type of level lah. First is the lower management team. then the middle, then the top management. Lower level mean just above the technician. Below this management will be the technical people, the technician. Yeah, they are the people on the floor on the factory. Level management above, they don't really work on the floor of the factory. They are the one planning and above in the management team. Yeah. Skill of manager. So as I said, we need to know different factory need different for the factory. They are the one planning and above.
Alright. So next is about managerial level. Okay, you tahulah. Okay, this is the pyramid for the level of manager. Managerial maksudnya apa level-level employees. Okay, dalam sesebuah organisasi. Okay, yang pertama sekali bawah. Okay, lower level management biasanya orang yang bawah ni contohnya macam Datuk cakap tadi dekat dalam sebuah kilang. Okay, you boleh tengok siapa pekerja kilang tu dia yang secara direct menjalankan proses untuk menjalankan proses untuk membuat produk. Itu kita panggil sebagai lower level management. For example, as supervisor, technician, okay, operator. Itu adalah lower level management. Dia lebih kerja dia adalah menjalankan aktiviti secara direct dengan produk, sesuatu produk tersebut. Okay. Contoh kalau dia kilang kereta, dia adalah technician yang akan assemble the cars. Okay. Dia akan pasang screw, dia akan pasang engine. Itu adalah lower level management. Okay, so middle level management ni yang pertengahan. Okay, sebagai contoh head of department, nanti dia ketua kepada lower level management tadi. Okay, the first step ketua yang pertama yang dia ni kena report lah. Okay, contoh head of department. Okay, head of department manager, head of department marketing, head of department sebagai contoh financial, head of department research and development, dia ketua kepada setiap department. Itu middle level management. Okay, yang tahap yang kedua. And at the top, yang atas sekali, of course lah, top level management. Okay, orang yang paling atas sekali lah dalam sesuatu organisasi tu. Kalau sebagai contoh, kalau tadi dekat kilang kita dah ada head of department, atas head of department tu ada manager. Manager dia. Okay, ataupun engineer. Okay. Manager itulah yang dia akan apa fungsi dia? Dia lah yang planning, organize tu semua. Okay? Planning, organize, leading and control. Dia lah pada level management yang atas top level ni lah dia akan fikirkan, dia akan brainstorm. Dia bekerja menggunakan apa? Dia tak menggunakan teknik-teknik dia. Dia tidak bekerja dengan produk, tetapi dia bekerja dengan akal, idea-idea dia. Okay? So dia bekerja dengan soft skill dia. Okay? Dia nak direct, dia nak leading. Okay? Itu adalah kerja-kerja top level management lah. Kalau dalam sesuatu organisasi, sama ada dia manager ataupun chief executive officer, CEO. Dia yang paling atas sekali lah. Mind master. Okay, dia dah mastermind. Balik pula. Mastermind untuk menjalankan organisasi dia. Okay. Itu top level management. Boleh faham ke tidak? Managerial level, senang je kan? Okay, next. Dia pusing pula.
In the sales, we need to know different factory need different people. So for example, Skill of manager. So as I said, we need to know different factory need different people. So for example, car factory. So we need technical skill, ability to use the procedure, techniques and knowledge of specialized field. Sure, if the car manufacturing, they need to know a lot about car engineering, car mobility, all that kind of thing to become a technical manager of the factory, of car factory. If furniture, that means they really need how to know about the furniture production, the technical spec of the furniture, whether you doing furniture using timber, whether you using furniture using plastic or using steel, then different kind of technical skill need to be as a manager. Then you have the human skill. It's a skill that gives the manager the ability to work effectively with other people. It includes the ability to motivate, understand, lead, and communicate, which a manager needs throughout his work. This human skill is the most difficult thing as a manager, because you need to motivate people to work. Some people are lazy to work. How are you going to motivate them? You must have the ability to motivate them, and then to understand their problems, and then how to lead, and then how to communicate with them is another thing. There are many channels of communication. Later on, when you learn of business communication, and you see there are various type of communication. If the manager communicate wrongly, then the people may not produce the specific that you need to produce the product. So this is quite a tough job as a manager on the human skill quality as a manager to produce the product in order to work together with the people to achieve the goals. Conceptual skill, they are mental capability that help managers see the whole enterprise as well as relationship that exists among the various party of the organization. So in organization, they have so many section, the manager section, the technical section, the production section, finishing section, marketing section. So as a manager, they need to understand all this kind of section. They need the skills. If the manager cannot understand the marketing concept, they cannot understand the production concept, that is very difficult. I give you a real example. I run business, so I know I can give you a real example. For example, people doing marketing, people who sell the product, people who sell the car, people who sell the furniture. It's very difficult because when they produce the car, you need to do the marketing. So the marketing people need to spend money. The marketing people need to spend money in advertisement, in promotion, give free sample, all kind of thing. That a lot of cost. But this money that they spend does not give the return in the same year. Maybe a little bit, but it may give return in the long term. So there's always a fight between the accounts section and the marketing section. It's the real story. Yeah? It's not theory. Because the account section, they give you 500,000 to do marketing promotion. They expect there's a return from the 500,000 ringgit in that same year. But marketing cost, everything you spend 500,000, they won't make the return in the same year. They will make the return in the next year or the future year. So in your account in that year, it shows you spend 500,000, but maybe you sell one or two car because you just do the promotion. So all these things have always conflicting between the marketing section, the finance section, and also sometimes the production section, because they produce a lot of car, but they cannot sell. So as a manager, you need to understand all these things. You need to have the skill, the conceptual skill, so that you can solve the problem within the financing section and the marketing section because of the non-performance of the certain of the section. It's a complicated thing. The business is not easy. So business is like going to war. You see how the war difficult to win over your enemy. The same thing happen in this business. You can understand that. That is business all about. Business is actually how you want to fight your war to sell your product. Because in the competition, Like cars, furniture, there are 1,000 other people manufacturing furniture, 1,000 of other company manufacturing cars. So you have to fight the market from the other competitor. So when you fight, that means you really go to war. So you must understand about this marketing and business concept, how you want to survive. It's not easy, straightforward business. If business is easy, straightforward, everybody do business. Nobody want to work with the government, right? Nobody want to work with people. Why should work with people? If business so easy to make money, you tell me. I'm doing business 46 years already. Still, I find it certain skill I don't have. Still learning daily. That's what I can tell you. I used to give a lecture to young people who want to start business. Those days, 20 years ago lah. So I told him how I achieved to that level in 20 years time. It's a very long time. I have to control all the difficulties. So when Joker put his hand up and asked me a question, you already experienced 20 years. That's how you come to this level. Can you teach us how you can reach to this level within 5 years? Really, Joker pula lah. I have to go all the difficulty for 20 years to reach that level. They're asking how I can teach in 5 years. If that can be done, then everybody professor in the world, why the teaching still teaching university? Ask the professor to do business lah. You ask the professor, very simple. They teach all this theory. You ask the professor whether they can implement the theory outside or not. Theory is one thing, practical is another thing. That is business. But you need the theory. You need to learn the theory. You can't do business without any knowledge of theory. That even worse still. It's some sort like you're going to a big pool without any life jacket. So with this knowledge you have, at least you have a life jacket. But whether you sink or not in the pool, still with the life jacket, no guarantee. Okay? Okay, this means
Okay, skill of manager lah. Okay, there are three types of skill manager. Okay, technical, human and conceptual. Okay, so kalau technical tu based on the ability to use the procedures. Okay, techniques and English. Okay, teknik lah secara kerja-kerja pemasangan, kerja-kerja apa lagi, pembuatan, itu skill technical skill. Kalau human skill pula, the skill that gives a manager the ability to work effectively with other people. Okay, so include the ability to motivate, understand, lead, communicate. Ni human skill biasanya yang soft skill lah yang kita ada. Okay, manager tu perlu ada lah. Dia kena apa? Motivate, bagi kata-kata semangat dekat dia punya subordinate employees, and then dia kena tahu juga macam mana nak komunikasi dengan pekerja-pekerja dia secara berpersat. Okay, itu human skill. Kalau conceptual skills pula, okay, seorang manager tu mesti dia boleh nampak sesuatu perkara tu secara menyeluruh. Itu maksud conceptual. Mental capability. Itu yang saya cakap tadi, mastermind. Okay, dia boleh nampak dari setiap sudut pekerja-pekerja dia ni, dia boleh nampak secara overall apa masalah, okay, apa relationship dia dengan pekerja-pekerja ni, okay, itu secara conceptual skill. Okay, boleh faham ke tidak skill of manager? Senang je kan? Datuk tu dah banyak bagi perkongsian tadi pasal experience dia sebagai businessman. Okay? So semua sebagai businessman pun dia mesti kena ada semua skill-skill ni lah, okay, in order to perform in their business field. Okay? So kalau untuk dalam perniagaan kita tak boleh mengharapkan kepada kita tahu teori saja tapi kita tak tahu secara praktikal dia. Sebab itulah untuk student-student mesti akan ada buat praktikal kan. Praktikal tu maksudnya kita praktikkan apa yang kita dah belajar dekat universiti ataupun dekat college, and then kita apply dekat tempat kerja yang sebenar. Okay, that is the theory and practical. Okay. So did you understand or not? Is there any question regarding skill of managers? Ada ke tak soalan? Jangan bagi saya cakap sorang-sorang. Ada soalan tak? Tak ada. No. Okay. So next kita tengok pula Mintzberg.
Without any life jacket. So with this knowledge you have, life jacket no guarantee. Okay. Okay, this Mintzberg manager role. Okay, this is some of the SC3 the theories professor talking. But you ask Mintzberg to do business, I think he will do business also. Until today, Mintzberg don't do business. Interpersonal roles help manager in managing the organization smoothly. As I said just now, the manager mix with different section of the organization. The account section, marketing section, production section, finishing section, purchasing section. So if the manager don't have the interpersonal role, can understand all the other section, and then you cannot become manager. So to become manager, you must have a very good interpersonal role so that you can understand all these people from different section. Because all different people from different section, they are different people. They are different thinking. They are different personality. So you don't understand this, then you cannot become manager. That's what Mintzberg says, which I agree lah. I'm not saying that it's wrong. Information role. Assist manager in receiving and communicating the information to make the decision right. So as a top management, you need to assist your people down you, your assistant manager, your supervisor, to communicate to them the right thing so that they can understand you and make the right decision. This is where we have the problem, communication. Top management pass the information to the lower manager. They didn't understand well. Explain to the lower manager. Was still these fellows who don't understand well. In the end, what you get? You got bad things product. Because why? The information that they got, not the right information. So as a top manager, you must have this information roles which you must clearly given the instruction to your manager, and they must understand. Not given instruction is one thing, whether the manager understand not as another thing. These are what we're trying to emphasize here. Okay. So next time when you run business, just don't say one or two words to your assistant. Expect he understand what you say. Especially you need to tell them exactly, and if possible, ask them to repeat what you say and see whether they can understand what you say. Then only you say, okay, you can go and ask the next person to do for you. Just give instruction and they keep quiet. I can tell you, in my experience, they may understand half what you say, they will give wrong information. To not understand your assistant manager or your down people understand, always ask them to repeat, to tell you back what your instruction. If they tell you back, then you can see he can understand what that you want. That's where your information rules is effective. Otherwise, you can get haywire until the production lines complete. Decisional roles. Assist manager in making decisions that involve problem on analyze and take advantage of the opportunity. So we always say when there's a problem, there's an opportunity. There's no problem without opportunity. Don't worry about problem. I like to have problem every day in my life so that I can think and solve the problem, and there's always opportunity in there. So that's what we're trying to see here. So if managers want to make decision to solve problem, analyze it, and in between there's always a solution and make and gain advantage of that. They always say that in the cloud there's always a silver lining. You understand? If you can understand. So in business we call it, when there's a problem, there's a business. Not many people may say that, but I said that, and a lot of business people understand what I said. If there's no problem, no business. If no business, why you want to learn business? Can you understand what I want to say? Yeah. So we need problem to have business. So don't worry about the problem, because that problem will generate business for you. Okay. Okay, interpersonal.
Okay, tengok tadi kan, secara ringkas dia. Okay, what is the Mintzberg manager rules? We have 3 here. Interpersonal, okay, Mintzberg cakap yang sebagai seorang manager, dia perlu ada 3 jenis role. Okay, iaitu interpersonal, informational dan decisional. Okay, siapa nak terangkan secara ringkas apa yang dia faham berkaitan dengan 3 roles yang Mintzberg bagi tahu ni? Okay, dalam manajemen ni you akan dengar nama-nama orang-orang yang yang dia jumpa teori tu ataupun dia memikirkan teori tu dan digunakan seluruh negara. Contohnya Mintzberg lah. Okay, Mintzberg ni orang dia yang dia yang mencetuskan idea tentang managerial roles. Okay, siapa saya nak tanya saya nak tanya apa yang dia faham tentang 3 roles ni berdasarkan dengan lecture daripada Datuk tadi. Contoh yang Datuk bagi. Okay, saya nak tanya siapa ya? Saya nak tanya Haziq Daniel. Ada ke tak Haziq Daniel? Haziq Daniel? Mana pula dia? Kenapa? Haziq Daniel tak dengar ke? Okey, lambat sangat Haziq Daniel nak jawab. So, kita tanya pula Aiman Hakim. Aiman, dengar tak suara saya? Alright. So, in your own words, in your point of view, what is 3 Mintzberg manager roles that you understand? And never mind whether in English or in Malay. Okay, very good. Betul. Okay, next. Okay. Alright. Thank you so much, Aiman. Very good. Okay, so next. Kita pergi tengok next slide pula. So kalau tak ada soalan, saya pergi move to another slide. Okay. Okay.
Can you understand what I want to say? Yeah. So we need problem to have business. So don't worry about the problem, because the problem will generate business for you. Okay. Company, the chief executive of the company, represent organization in managers company as a head of unit. Can you understand what I want to say? Yeah. Figurehead here is talking about the CEO of the company, the chief.
Okay, ini secara details. Okay, 3 rules tadi iaitu interpersonal, decisional dan informational tu ada 3. Ini dia punya, for the next slide is the details parts of each role. Okay, so let's look at this slide.
Executive of the company, represent organization in managers company as a head of unit. The head lah, the kepala lah, yeah, the head. Like in the school, the headmaster lah. In university, the vice chancellor lah. In a company, they call it chief executive officer lah, that kind of thing. So that is the number 1. Then we go to the leader, a person who responsible for hiring, training and motivating subordinate in the organization. As a figurehead, your job is also a leader. You have to hire people, fire people, motivate people, all the people under you, your subordinate. Liaison, a person who perform and interact with other people outside organizations such as. So first thing, as a figurehead, you are the leader of the organization. Then you have also a liaison. You also a leader or have to liaise with outside your organization. Your suppliers, your buyers, all the government sector, you have to get license from the government. All these things is also your job as a figurehead, as the head of the organization. Okay, that in that process, that guy must have, or what we call it, interpersonal rules. Role as a figurehead, roles as a leader in the organization, role as to liaise with the other people outside the organization. That's what the understanding. Information role. So monitor. The leader also must monitor, seek and receive information from internal and external environment. Disseminator, you have to disseminate the information. I'm sorry, you have to filter the information. Manager will transmit information received to the employer. So when you receive information from outside, because you the liaise with the external government, for example, the government come up with new ruling. So this new ruling, you have to understand it and then disseminate it, first it, simplify the government ruling to your subordinate. So you filter it, then disseminate it to your manager. And then spokesperson, manager as spokesperson will transmit information to outside. And then you also become a spokesperson to the outside the organization. Just now as I said, isolation or spokesperson, same thing lah. Yeah. So here is the extension of the information rules of the head of the unit, the chief executive officer. Okay, so to mention role, next step, decision role. Yeah, decision role. Okay, what is decision role? Entrepreneur. Think as an entrepreneur. If you are a CEO of a company, CEO of a organization, you must think as entrepreneur. What is entrepreneur? You must think as a business people lah. If you think like the government servant working in the government, then you cannot become a CEO of organization. Our CEO of organization must think as a business people, or we call it your entrepreneur. Yeah, you think like those government, we call it these are administrator. They are not business people. Okay, then resource allocator. You allocate your resources within your organization. After filtering the information, managers will transmit information referees to the employees. Yeah. So whatever information you have, so you have to allocate it to different employer. This manager, marketing manager, production manager, resource manager. So you are the one to filter and disseminate to the correct party within your organization. So this job we call it resource allocator. Yeah. Then disturbance handler, responsible for corrective action when the organization feels important unexpected disturbances. For example, there's a riot inside the factory. People don't not happy with the management or with the policy of the company. So you as a CEO have to handle it. So to handle and explain whatever problem, whatever dissatisfaction by the workers. So that type of job, we call it disturbance handler. You handle the disturbances happening inside your organization. Last one is negotiator. Responsible for representing the organization in major renegotiation. This one is more the outside organization lah. Is now we call it as a liaison or negotiator. Whatever you have to get the license from the government. The government will say no for you to apply certain approval. So you have to negotiate with the government. Then you have to negotiate with your buyer. Sometimes the buyer don't agree with your product. How you going to negotiate for them to agree to buy your product? This is the role of the CEO. We call it as a negotiator. Plus all the other thing that he has to negotiate outside the organization. Okay, so in summary, what we handle the disturbances happening inside. So that's CEO of a organization. You must think as
Okay.
entrepreneur. What is entrepreneur?
Sekejap
You must think as a business people lah. Spokesperson, same thing lah. Yeah. So here is the extension of the information. Enter the information. Manager will transmit information received to the employer. So all this thing is also your job as a
Okay.
figurehead as the.
So apa yang ada dekat dalam keywords yang ada dekat dalam interpersonal roles. Okay, ni means word yang beritahu lah ni. Dia kata dalam interpersonal roles kena apa dia? Keywords yang pertama iaitu figurehead. Okay, represent the organisation in managerial capacity as head of unit. Okay, dia kena, okay, kita akan nampak lah, okay, kalau seseorang ketua tu ataupun manager ataupun chief executive officer tu, dia adalah kepala kepada organisasi dia. Okay, kalau sesiapa orang luar nak jumpa, mesti dia akan inform dekat pekerja. Okay, boleh saya jumpa dengan bos awak tak? Bos tu adalah figurehead lah. Figurehead tu represent the organisation. Yang dia akan mengetuai, okay, organisasi tersebut. Itu figurehead. Okay. So next is leader pula. Leader tu a person who is responsible for hiring, training, motivating subordinate in the organization. Okay. So leader tu sama lah macam ketua juga. Okay. Dia yang bertanggungjawab. Okay. Dia yang cabut pula saya ni. Okay, dia yang bertanggungjawab untuk dia nak cari pekerja, right? So dia akan suruh HR department untuk cari pekerja, sebagai contoh yang mempunyai skill, experience yang bagus. Contoh macam tu. Okay. And then dia juga bertanggungjawab untuk inform kepada human resource department supaya buat training. Buat training lah kalau skill-skill yang contohlah pekerja dia tak ada, so dia kena buat satu training. Training course supaya menambah pengetahuan kepada employees ataupun subordinate dia. And then dia juga kena motivate lah, maksudnya kena bagi motivasi kepada pekerja supaya setiap masa pekerja ni ataupun subordinate ni akan berusaha yang terbaik untuk mencapai goals of the organisation. Okay. Next is listener, a person who performs and interact with other people outside the organisation such as suppliers, customers, competitors. Okay. Dia kena ada interpersonal rules based on the license lah. Dia kena orang kata communicate and interact dengan external parties lah of the business. For example, government, okay. Kalau ada berkaitan dengan tax ataupun LHDN, kan setiap business kena bayar tax kan. Okay, dia kena interact lah dengan LHDN, ataupun kalau company tu ada buat loan, dia interact dengan siapa? Bank, okay, pihak bank ataupun financial institution, okay. Itu maksud license. Ada soalan tak untuk interpersonal role? Did you have any question about interpersonal roles? The three things under interpersonal role. Can you understand or not, my dear? Alright, okay. So I want to ask you regarding the next role. Okay, sekejap. Tengok apa next role dia. Yang second tu apa tadi? Tak ingat dah saya. Information kan? Jom kita tengok discuss sikit pasal information. Okay, so informational role. Can someone give me the definition of informational rules and the things under that rule in your own words. Siapa nak? Siapa nak ni? Nak discuss. Siapa nak beritahu saya? Saya nak minta, saya nak panggil Balkis. Balkis ada ke tak? Dengar tak suara saya? Balkis, are you there? Okay, Balkis tak jawab ni, kenapa ni? Okay, Sadam. Sadam Alamin, are you there? Sadam. Okay. So, in your point of view, what is informational rule? There are 3 types of informational rule. Can you explain it in your own words? In English also can, or in Malay also can. Okay, very good. Next. Oh, okay. Lagi? Contoh? Supplier. Okay, very good. Thank you so much, Sadam. Alright. So, very good. Senang je chapter 1 ni. Okay, next kita tengok pula apa lepas information ni apa. Okay, decisional. Okay, siapa nak discuss tentang decisional rules in your own words? I just want to know whether you understand decisional rules or not. Okay, sekejap. Saya tengok siapa yang belum saya panggil. Kenapa ramai yang tak ada dah ni? Adika. Adika dah panggil tu. Alright. Can you please try explain what is the decisional rule in your own words? Okay. Pandai. Alright, very good. Next. Handler. 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 Negotiate. Berbincang. Dengan mana? Dengan siapa? Okey. Contoh pihak luar. Okay. Okay, very good. Thank you so much, Adika. Okay, so dah settle dah chapter 1. So apa lagi yang Datuk bagi tahu dekat bahagian summary tadi last kali. Summary tu apa yang Datuk inform? Kadang-kadang Datuk dia akan ada masukkan nasihat sikit ke ataupun tips kan. Sekejap kita tengok.
Negotiator. Plus all the other thing that he has to negotiate outside the organization. Okay, so in summary, what we have studied for today from the learning objective. Number 1, the concept of management, how the management is all about. And then the management function. Management function here, the function of managers from the top level, middle level, and lower level. And then managerial performance, how you measure performance, how you measure the manager effectiveness, we have already explained. Level and skill of manager, we have already explained to you. Different manager, different level, and different skill needed to run the organization. And then the last one, the management manager roles which we explained to you. This is more theory So that's it for this chapter 1. So in the class, you will continue with the lecturer to discuss further. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, so dah habis dah. Kita revise tengok lecture daripada Datuk. Okay, kita ada masa lagi lah, setengah jam lagi saya nak habiskan sikit lagi. Okay, berkaitan dengan sama juga, introduction juga. Tapi kita nak tengok YouTube video from other resources. Okay, jom kita tengok. Sekejap. Okay, selain daripada, jom kita tengok ada seorang lecturer ni. Dia cakap apa pasal, lama dah hilang lah pula. Dah hilang lah kita cari balik cakap apa tentang introduction to management. Yang ni. Tadi ada part-part pula. Kita tengok yang ni lah. Ni lagi best sikit. Okay, kita ambil yang singkat-singkat saja. Sekejap dia lambat sikit. And then later on I will give you the tutorial. Okay, the tutorial is just for you to revise back.
Welcome to educationleaves.com. In this video, we are going to learn about management. Topics we are covering in this video are definition of management, concept of management, importance of management, levels of management, and management skills. Definition of management. Management may be defined as the art of work done through people, with the satisfaction of the employer, employees, and the public. To do this, it is necessary to guide, direct, control human effort towards the fulfillment of the goal of the enterprise. Concept of management. Management is an executive act that actively directs the human effort to a common goal. Management is the follower of the administration, it gets a salary or a part of the profit in lieu of its services. Management does not frame politics, it only implements the politics laid down by the administrator. Planning, organizing, staffing, motivation, directing, coordination, and control are all the functions of the management. Importance of management. No enterprise can survive without management, even if it possesses huge money, the best machinery, expert manpower. Because without management, it will be all confusion, nobody will know what to do. Management guides and controls the activities of manpower for maximum utilization of the company's resources. Managers provide new ideas and vision to the organization to do better. The manager provides stability to the company by changing and modifying the resources in accordance with the changing environment of the society. Management helps personality development, thereby raising efficiency and productivity. Levels of management. There are 3 levels of management. 1. Managerial or top-level management. Top level of management consists of board of director, managing director, CEO. Their main responsibility is planning and coordinating. Top-level managers are accountable to the stakeholders and the general public. 2. Executive or middle-level management. General managers, branch managers, and department managers are known as middle-level managers. Their main role is the directional and managerial function of an organization. Implementation of policies and plans as per the directive of top management. 3. Supervisor or operative level management. Supervisor, foreman, and first-line managers are at this level. Their main role is to distribute jobs and responsibilities to a variety of workers. They are directly responsible for the quality and amount of products. Management skills. Management skills are classified as 1. Technical skills. 2. Conceptual skills. 3. Human relation skills. 1. Technical skill. Technical skill is necessary for a manager in handling methods and processes properly. It is essential for a manager to know which technical skill should be employed in a particular work. Technical skill is essential for lower-level management. 2. Conceptual skills. Conceptual skills are required to recognize interrelationship among different functions of the business, external force, and to guide effectively the organizational efforts. Conceptual skill is essential for higher-level management. Conceptual skills include decision-making skills and organizational skills. 3. Human relation skills. Human relation skills is the ability to work with other people and reach organizational goals. And communication skills is the ability to transfer information to others effectively. Motivating skills is to inspire people to do what the manager wants them to do. The manager can use positive method like rewards, praise, etc., or the negative method like punishment, threat, etc. If you want to read in details or download the PDF, go through the link in the description and don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.
Okay, so banyak kan tadi daripada video tadi dia ada inform pasal apa dia punya function of managerial, and then dia ada beritahu pasal skill-skill yang kena ada untuk managerial. Okay, so next kita tengok lagi satu. Okay, kita akan tengok berkaitan dengan Mintzberg. Okay, Mintzberg dulu. Okay, kita cari untuk Mintzberg managerial roles. Sekejap saya cari. Okay, kita tengok video Alanis ni, Alanis Business Academy. Okay, apa dia bagi tahu tentang Mintzberg managerial role.
common question that many people find themselves asking is, what do managers actually do? Truthfully, this is a fair question. If we intend to train and educate the next generation of managers, isn't it important to have an understanding of what we're training them for? These questions plagued the mind of a professor at McGill University by the name of Henry Mintzberg. You see, Mintzberg wasn't satisfied by Henry Fayol's depiction of managers as those that engage in planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. He felt that these functions were far too vague and weren't an accurate representation of what managers actually did on the job. So naturally, Mintzberg sought to uncover a more supportable and useful description of managerial work. In addition to conducting his own research, Mintzberg scoured current and available research pertaining to managerial roles. These studies incorporated managers at all levels of the organizational structure, as well as managers from different countries. Managers were observed firsthand in their natural environments, and some were even asked to keep detailed diaries of their various activities during the day. With access to all of this data, Mintzberg attempted to paint a much more accurate picture of managerial roles and accurately answer the question, what does a manager actually do? Mintzberg found that managers serve three distinct roles in the organization: interpersonal roles, informational roles, and decisional roles. Each of these categories spawned more specific responsibilities that ultimately share a common theme. But before we get to this, let's discuss where it all begins. What is a manager? Although definitions vary, a manager can easily be described as someone who's in charge of an organization or subgroup. And since the manager is in charge of the organization or subgroup, they're given a certain amount of authority over the group. Mintzberg argued that the presence of this authority was important because this formal authority, meaning authority derived from simply having a certain position in the organizational structure, results in the possession of status. And a manager's status in the organization is what leads to the various roles that we'll describe now. The first role of managers is an interpersonal role. Interpersonal roles are derived directly from formal authority, since managers wouldn't have the same relationship with his or her subordinates if he or she lacked formal authority and thus status in the group. Within interpersonal roles, managers fulfill three important roles: figurehead, leader, and liaison. As a figurehead, managers are the head of the organizational unit and are responsible for performing certain ceremonial duties. These duties can include taking a newly hired employee out to lunch, attending the wedding of an employee, or even meeting with foreign dignitaries. Although these may not sound critically important to the organization, they ensure the organization runs smoothly. The next role is that of a leader. As a leader, managers are accountable for the work and performance of their subordinates. Managers are often responsible for hiring and training in their direct area, and also providing subordinates with incentives to increase productivity while working towards group goals. The last interpersonal role is one of a liaison. As a liaison, managers serve as a connection between their organization or subunit to those outside of it. Acting as a liaison leads to managers establishing contacts with their peers as well as customers and suppliers, which can serve as a valuable source of information. Each of the individual roles within interpersonal roles leads to the second role of a manager: informational roles. Through their interpersonal roles, managers develop important contacts that provide them with access to important information. Within their informational role, managers serve as a monitor, disseminator, and spokesperson. At this point, I'm sure that you can see how these roles are beginning to tie together. For without the interpersonal roles, managers wouldn't be in a position to gain access to information in the first place. As a monitor, managers are responsible for scanning their environments for information. This information can come from a manager's vast collection of networks and can either be solicited or unsolicited. The important thing is that the manager has their ears to the ground and is waiting for valuable information to relay to his or her subordinates. Once the manager collects this information, they are now in a position to disseminate that information to their organization or subunit. This action highlights a manager's role as a disseminator. Without the manager, subordinates wouldn't have access to this information, since they likely lack the vast network of contacts that managers possess. The last informational role of a manager is that of a spokesperson. In addition to disseminating information to those inside the organization or subunit, managers also send information to people on the outside. This could take the form of a conference call with investors, a testimony at a congressional hearing, or even a conversation with a supplier. In addition to managing the interests of their subordinates, managers must also deal with external stakeholders, such as investors, suppliers, creditors, and government agencies, to name a few. Due to their informational roles, managers now have access to what is needed to make decisions. Managers play a significant role in the decision-making of their organization or subunit, and this is in large part due to the level of information that they have access to. Within a manager's role as a decision maker, they also serve as an entrepreneur, disturbance handler, resource allocator, and negotiator. As an entrepreneur, managers seek to utilize their information for the purpose of improving their organization or subunit. Remember that while serving as monitor, the manager is scanning the environment for information and opportunities. As entrepreneur, the manager now takes advantage of those opportunities that were previously identified. As disturbance handler, managers are responsible for responding to events or circumstances that are beyond their control. These circumstances or pressures are typically too significant for a manager to ignore, and thus some kind of action is needed. These pressures can include deteriorating economic conditions, labor strikes, natural disasters, competitor actions, or even product issues like the Firestone tires in the 1990s, the deaths caused by Tylenol in the early 1980s, and more recently, the BP oil spill. The impact of these events is significant and certainly warrant a response from managers in their disturbance handler role. The third decisional role that managers engage in is that of a resource allocator. As resource allocator, managers decide who in their organization or subunit gets what. This can include things like time, which is important considering the manager's connections and access to information, money, equipment, or even facilities. In addition to allocating scarce resources, managers also establish an organizational structure for their unit and authorize decisions before implementation. The fourth and final decisional role is that of a negotiator. Due to their authority to commit organizational resources, as well as their access to information, managers are uniquely positioned to negotiate on behalf of the organization. Managers regularly negotiate supplier contracts, employee grievances, and employee labor contracts. Together, Mintzberg argued that each of these 10 managerial roles provide a better reflection of what managers actually do. Each role is uniquely important, and the sum of these managerial roles is certainly greater than the individual roles by themselves. Take, for example, a manager who doesn't have access to information. How would they make accurate and timely decisions? How would they allocate resources, negotiate effectively, or even identify new opportunities for their organization? The truth is that each managerial role is necessary and important to ultimately the effectiveness of a manager. Now, Mintzberg certainly didn't claim that every manager gives each role the same attention, but that access to each was important for a manager to be able to fulfill their roles and responsibilities effectively. This has been Mintzberg's managerial roles. In our next video, we'll discuss the early management theory, scientific management. For questions, please leave them in the comment box below, and I'll do my best to get back to those in a timely fashion. And remember to subscribe to Alan East Business Academy to have our latest videos sent to you while you sleep. Thanks for watching.
Okey. Sekejap kita tengok chapter tak. Kita tengok yang lain lagi satu. Okey, kita nak tengok tajuk apa Kita nak tengok management function pula. Okey, yang POLC tu. Apa orang lain cakap pasal management function? Okay, ini dia.
When we consider the 4 functions of management, regardless of the industry, they are the same. The 4 functions of management that we're going to be looking at for the purposes of this course are planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. One anchor that I'd like you to think about and keep in mind throughout each of the given functions of management is the word objectives. So let's first talk about planning. As you can see, when we look at planning, we do this first because we're setting a direction for the organization. We're actually setting up the objectives that will determine our actions throughout the organization. We'll anchor them to our vision and mission. We'll anchor them and hopefully build strategy to help achieve those objectives. When we look towards organizing, organizing is all about delegating and organizing the tasks and resources to then, wait for it, achieve the objectives. So within organizing, we're looking at levels of decision making, of delegating, and setting ourselves up so that once we get the people in place, we can achieve our objectives and we'll head down the path of being successful as an organization, achieving those objectives. So let's get rid of organizing here. When we're done organizing, we're then into the leading process. And I say done, but I want you to think of the 4 functions of management very much as a process. So we plan, we organize, and now we're looking at leading. When we consider leading, it's all about influencing employees and their behaviors to do what? You got it, to achieve the organizational objectives. So this is where we delve in, and when we think about leadership, we're thinking about communications, we're thinking about managing teams, inspiring people, and influencing their behaviors. Ironically, not all managers are leaders, because it might not be part of their function or who they are. But that's a debate we can have in class. So we're planning, we're organizing, we're leading, and last but not least, we're controlling. When we look at controlling, this will be the function we look at the least in this course. Please don't think that there's not importance there, though, because there's great importance in evaluation, in feedback, in identifying performance and performance appraisals of your people. But for purposes of this course, that many of these pieces are covered off in your HR course. So I want you to think of controlling as establishing and implementing mechanisms and processes to ensure that the organization achieves its objectives. So there we have it. Looks pretty good. Planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. Often when you think of management and leadership, you see this leading and controlling as the majority of the tasks. But it's because these 2 functions are what we see our managers doing. Often when they close doors or go into meetings, equal amounts of their time can be spent in this planning and organizing phases of things. Okay, so there we have it, our 4 functions of management. I want you to think about who you're going to be as a manager. What areas are you strong? Where would you like to improve? And where do you see yourself within these given functions? Lots of room to grow, lots of great interest areas to dig into. Have fun.
Okay. Dah habis. Okay, untuk hari ni, chapter 1. Okay, is there any question regarding the introduction to management? Ada soalan tak? Okay, untuk tutorial nanti saya akan bagi ataupun share dekat dalam group WhatsApp macam biasalah. Okay. Saya cari dulu tutorial and then I will give to you. So ada soalan before we end the live? Before we end the class, any question? Zulfa, okay ke? Zulfa, boleh? Boleh faham? Tentang introduction to management? Oh, Zulfa. Where are you? Okay, kalau tak ada lagi, kita sampai sini saja. Thank you so much everyone. Bye. Assalamualaikum. Welcome.